Hey guys, welcome back to TomGirl here at AfterBuzz TV. This is episode 5, and this is an amazing one. We are with Wonder Woman stunt double, Caitlin Dechelle. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Woo-hoo. Yeah! This is awesome. Right? We're pumped up here. Let it play for a second. Oh, this just gives me shivers. I'm so excited. All right, the little girl in me is so excited for this interview today. I am here with Caitlin Dechelle. Hey, Caitlin, thank you for coming.
Of course, thank you for having me. This is so exciting.
Fun. Can you tell everybody where they can follow you on social media?
Yeah, of course. You could find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Caitlin Dechelle. Should I spell that? Is that
sure. Yeah, go. Yeah.
Just because people are like, Caitlin. There's so many ways to spell Caitlin. Sure. So it's CAITLINDECHELLE.
Perfect. There you go, guys. All right. So what an amazing role you have here. So how did this come to be that you became the stunt double for Gal Gadot?
God, it's crazy because, I mean, I think for a lot of women that this is going to be a huge empowering movie. And, coming from the martial arts world and being such a woman, role model, it's like, all these years I would never think later, I'm going to double Wonder Woman, or be a part of that, legendary movie that's about to happen, so it's so I've been in stunts for about 4 to 5 years now out here in Los Angeles, and I had the opportunity to audition for this role as her double, and there were a bunch of amazing other talented women that were involved, and she also had a few other doubles as well, and it was kind of surreal. I was like I kind of knew it was what I was auditioning for, but I really don't, because in that process they don't tell you a lot of those things. You just go in and they're like, hey, do this, do that, thanks for coming. So I was like, and it was actually on my birthday that I went in, so I didn't actually know what it was for. And I was like, oh, I'm telling all my friends, hey, I'm not gonna be long, auditions are quick and I'll be out soon. It was a 2 to 3 hour audition, but it was awesome. It was just fighting and weapons and all these things that of course I'm excited about, because that's me and my life and what I do, so and then I didn't hear for a few days, and I was just kind of like, well, you never know, I mean, it's just how the business works. And then I got a call and they were like, you're going to London, as soon as your visa's approved, you're going. And I was just like, whoa, is this real? It's like one of those moments when you stop and you think, you're like, this is happening, and again, just because I am a martial artist, and it's and then to fill a role like this, and to kind of create who and what she is action-wise, it's it's still, when I think about it, it was such an exciting, and I'm like, yes, this is gonna happen, so so that's kind of how it happened. Then went out, and I was in London for 8 months, or I guess probably maybe about 6-ish, and then we went to Italy at the end to film the training scene fights, and oh, wow. It was an adventure. It was an amazing adventure.
So back to, I know a lot of us don't know a lot about the stunt world. So normal auditions, you go in and you may read with somebody else on the cast, you may not. So what kind of details on what the kind of things they put you through in that actually audition?
So auditions for stunt, and normally sometimes don't happen a lot. When you get on TV shows or music videos or smaller type things, normally if you fit the height, the weight, the general of the actress or whoever it is you're doubling, they'll just bring you in. So it's never really one of those things where you have to worry about going in and physically doing something, because normally you're hired for your skill, and most of the time I'm hired for fights because I am a martial artist. So but this one, obviously there's a lot more to it. It's making Wonder Woman, so there was a little bit more to it. But we went in, and it was at Warner Brothers here, in California, and just different, a lot of different fight scenes, a lot of intricate hand-to-hand, combat, weapons, because obviously she wields a sword with a shield, so that was important to be able to do. Some stick, which we call a bow staff, so we did some of that. Falls, because obviously, as great as it is to be, killing everybody else and fighting, you get knocked down sometimes, so you got to take a good fall.
Life. Yep.
Yeah, exactly, right? So it really encompassed everything. I mean, there wasn't one thing that was left out. It was make sure that this double can do everything, because I mean, essentially that's what it is. We did wire work, Like I say, we did obviously Sword from all the, you know, trailers and everything, and now the film that's coming you'll see. And yeah, so it was an exhausting audition, I guess, but those are the fun ones, right? The ones that challenge you, and then you see and you know, like, what you're about to go and embark on, and you're just like, this is going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So when you got that call and you were told, like, hey, this is for the main Wonder Woman role, like, what was your first reaction? Who'd you call? What did you do to celebrate?
God, it's crazy because it's like I'm that person that I'm always super excited, but then I get stressed. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have this to do, I have that to do. I actually moved out of my apartment. Like, I put my stuff in storage by myself within a week. Like, so it was a lot of, like, it was like bittersweet. It was like I was so excited, but I have so much to do, and I'm like, how can I get it all done? But first call is always my parents. Like, my parents are my best friends, my go-to. Like, if I need advice, if I need to cry to someone, if I need to whatever. I call my parents. So they were my first ones, and I was like, I got it. I was like, I'm going. So yeah, and then, you know, some of my good friends here that, you know, I talk to, and I have a lot of friends on the East Coast. You know, I was born in Miami, so I have, you know, people on that side. So it was just it was kind of one of those moments still that I didn't even believe it, you know, but I was like, I'm going. And then when I got there, it became real. It was like, all right, here we go. We get into training, you know, we have to learn all the fights, and then here we go. It's time to perform, you know? So it was, yeah, there was a lot of exciting moments in it for sure.
Now, how do you get through moments, or maybe you don't have any of these, but like when you got there and you were like doubtful or scared or like feeling the pressure of like being on such a big budget, huge, I mean, everybody's eyes were on this film because they're, you know, ready for this to come out. So how do you get yourself focused and not worrying about that and through that?
Yeah, I mean, of course you're always going to have those worries and fears and doubts, because like any normal person, I'm just as normal. I mean, even having the skill I have, you still have those thoughts of like, oh God, like, can I really do it, you know? But I think from all my martial arts training and competing over the years, I've had to step onto those stages, you know, on ESPN and, you know, all these other things, and be able to kind of just close my eyes and block everything else out and just know that this is what I have to do, you know? So a lot of the times I try not to think like, oh my God, I'm on Wonder Woman, here we go, like, you know, walking into the room. But then it's crazy. You look down and then you have the suit on and you're like, oh, okay, well, this is kind of happening, you know? But yeah, I always try to just stay focused, and I know, like, on that day what I have to do. There's a task, I've trained for that task, and I make sure I'm as prepared as I can be, and then I just go, I attack.
Yep, prepared.
Yeah.
Yep. So, first moment when you put on that badass suit, what was that like first time?
I think everything. I'm going to say it was like the most surreal moment. Like, I went in for my fitting, and of course that was, you know, a work in progress, putting the suit on. We all had our individual suits, you know, that fit us the right way, and especially me for being able to move and wearing a harness underneath and stuff like that. So, but the actual first day on set was like, wow, like, I was just like, this is for real, you know, because we had been through a few months of training, you know, and I hadn't worn a suit, I hadn't filmed, I hadn't done anything. I was just in London. We were training every day. I was working out almost twice a day, you know, so it got to that moment of where it was kind of like I was proud, you know, of just myself too, for, you know, taking on another challenge and, you know, training and preparing. And it was just kind of like, wow, well, it's time to go at this point, you know, and it was just really exciting.
That's awesome. Tell us more about the training process. Like, I know you said a few hours a day, a couple or 2 sessions a day. Yeah, tell us more details about that.
Yeah.
Maybe like the diet, what type of regimen you were on.
The diet. Okay, so yeah, training was tough, obviously. I mean, to be something like her, and she was training just as much. You know, she was in the gym and trying to put on muscle, and I mean, she looked absolutely fantastic. Like, I've already seen it, and I know it comes out the day, you know, that this is coming out, but I've seen it a week or two ahead of schedule, and gosh, I almost got goosebumps of how like great she looks. So that made me happy too, you know. But so our training day normally started about 8 a.m. But I would come in before that off the clock, and I would do like a morning fasted cardio, just to, you know, get my blood going, get a good little cardio session in. And then we'd go into actual rehearsal. So we'd be rehearsing the fights, or maybe, you know, a wire move that we had to do that day, and just kind of figuring it out. And shooting what we call previs, which, on the day we have, film of us already shooting what we're about to shoot for real right now. So then that kind of gives, camera guys, hey, where do we go? And that gives us a reminder like, oh, hey, okay, we need this, or we need this stunt person here, so it's kind of like our tool to follow. And then, so we would either, be shooting that or rehearsing or something. We'd break for lunch, quick break, and then we'd have like an hour to an hour and a half gym workout after. We lifted weights. We had amazing trainers. We had Peter, Mark, and Mario, and the three of them were just absolutely fantastic. Like, trust me, some days I hated them. Literally, like, and if they ever see this, they'll know that. Like, some days, love you guys, but yeah, so they would put us through these amazing workouts, and they were so great. They knew so many things that I even got to learn, because obviously I'm not a trainer, I'm a martial artist. So, so then that was that part of the day. And then we'd go back into rehearsal pretty much till the end of the day, till about 5 or 6, depending on, how much we needed to get done. So, and that was every day, almost every day. And we even worked Saturdays. We were always, if we weren't shooting, we were, rehearsing or training. There was never like, oh, we don't shoot today, like, you guys got the day off, unless it was Sunday. We worked a lot. And everybody, I mean, not even just the stunt team, but I mean, camera, editing, VFX, like, and everybody was always working. But that was what was so awesome, is that we had such a good team that, like, it felt like work, but it wasn't, like, it was just fun. And we knew we were putting something together that was so amazing that it was just like, we all just kept working.
And did you say 7 months in London and 2 months in Italy?
I want to say about that. Yeah, I think maybe like 6-ish months, because, we did prep before and training and, prepping for the fights and everything. And then, then we went to Italy for about, a month and a half, maybe 2. It's all a blur in my mind at this point. But we packed up in London. We're like, let's go to Italy. Let's go to the next adventure, because that was on the beach, and you encounter a lot of different things when you're out of a studio. So it changes the world a little bit. But
you had some great Insta shots from those places. Or we talk about adventure and travel on here too. So there's some places that you got to see that you that you loved in those places.
Yeah, I mean, just traveling for me has always been so much fun. I mean, karate has taken me to some amazing places, and unfortunately, when I am gone, I'm most of the time working, so I don't get to see, a lot of things, right? It's not like when you're on a vacation and you could spend the whole day like, oh, let's go here, let's check this place out. You don't really get to do that as much. So, but being in London, I did get to go to the city a few times at least and explore in London. Like, I want to go back. I haven't been back since, but I want to go just to be like, I'm going to take a week and just tour and be a tourist, because it's so fun. But then Italy was amazing too, because we were right on the water, actually, when we were in that beach scene. Like, that actually is for real. It's not green screen, everybody. Like, we were running in the sand, in the beach, in these crazy Amazon costumes every day. And gosh, everybody just did so amazing. And it was just fun. But you're outside. It's hot. It's sticky. There's sand everywhere. So there's a lot of other things that's funny that when you like watch it, you don't think about. You're like, oh wow, it's just pretty. And you're like, yeah, but there were other things too. But yeah, so we got to see some amazing things there, and then the people were just so great. And it's funny because we're out in the towns, and everyone's just like, shocked, just sitting there like watching, like, oh, this is so cool,
Oh yeah. So, I'm sure it was big buzz, and they were excited to have you shooting in their town.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially we went to these we went to this one town called Matera, and I think it's one of the like oldest cities in the world, and it was just beautiful to like think that people just live there and that's their everyday. It's just like, it's wowing, but it's good. It really shows you culture and people, and I love that. So it was a great experience, another great experience on top of this experience.
I was just saying that, how amazing is that you get to see that? Because I do now, when I watch films and I see amazing places, the back of my mind I was always, is it real or is it green screen? Because I know how much is
I want to go there.
But then I'm like, oh, it could just be green screen as backdrop. They're in a sound state, anymore,
well, you never know these days. And I mean, these guys who do this stuff are incredibly talented. They make something seem so real, and there's just green there, and you're like, wow, how did you even do that? So to me, it's like, yes, for what I do is amazing, and what Gal does is amazing, but everybody is amazing in their own parts. So to watch it all finally like come together, you're just like, wow, like all the talent combined is just, it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, let's show, now that we've talked about it a little bit, let's show a couple of the scenes. You can kind of talk us through it. And,
let's do it.
Yeah.
So this is the training scene in Italy. And this was against Robin Wright, who...
She's amazing, right? Yeah.
Again.
She talked about how excited she was to be the one training Wonder Woman too. That was a big honor for her.
Yeah, that sweep there was fun.
Never let your guard down. You expect the battle to be fair. A battle will never be fair.
And that's
That
like
pose,
obviously her.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Like that's Wonder Woman. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. So I think we have another one here.
Sweet.
Coming up.
Let's see what we got.
We'll just cue it up here in a second. So how long did that scene take to shoot?
You know, it was bits and pieces as it went. There are another few pieces out there that we also got to do, but yeah, it wasn't very long because we did two different locations in Italy. We did Matera, which was I believe there, and then we did the beach stuff also. So I don't want to say we were rushed for time, but you know, on a film, you're always rushed for time.
Yeah.
Like there's never enough time to shoot. So yeah, but that was fun out there too, and just such a beautiful like spot. You know, you get to work and you're like, whoa, is this work?
Yeah.
You know, it's just so pretty. And we did get time to just kind of sit and just look at where we were. And it's hard, you know, sometimes when you're constantly working and going, it's stressful, you know. But then you kind of just have to stop sometimes and be like, wow, like let me stop, look where I am, look what I'm doing, and like just be so thankful that, you know, what you have at that moment. So
Yeah, take a moment to breathe and take it all in.
Yes.
Yeah, amazing. I think, are you having I think it's at 4:23 if you're looking for the time. There. Oh, he's all ready.
he's ready.
He's waiting on me, I think.
This was into the room fighting the Germans. This was actually my first day, my first big fight right now.
So awesome.
Love the slow motion.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that was you breaking through the glass too, right?
Yeah,
Like
yep, all of that. And that was all, you know, wire work and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, watching it come together too is so crazy because, you know, you do it and we shoot it in such pieces and bits. So, you know, it's like you know what you're doing and you know the whole fight as a whole, but it's never really shot in whole. You know, it's shot in a lot of different pieces. So like the piece in the beginning coming through the glass and hitting that first pose, like that's one cut. Done. So it's like when you're sitting there doing it, you're like, you know, kind of what's coming together and what's happening, but to finally see it, you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like,
so the first time you saw Eclipse, was it when the trailer was released?
yeah, I saw it when everyone else saw it. So as it was coming out, I was like, yes, oh, another one. Let's see what they're showing. Like, so I saw it when everybody else did, but I do have to say I did see the movie about a week and a half, maybe it was 2 weeks before it came out at a Patty Jenkins YouTube event. So actually had a screening there, and I was blown away.
Oh, I can't wait. I have not seen it yet because I have to wait, like the common folk, to see it, but I cannot wait. I was going to ask you something else. Oh, so the first time when you saw the trailer, and then that's you like busting through the glass, because that glass shot is amazing. Were you just like, Mom, Dad, that's like,
yeah, no, and my parents called and they were like, hey, where are you? Which piece are you?
Right?
What number? What time stamp? I'm like, oh my gosh, hang on. And they're watching, and I could like hear it, and I'm like, that's me. Oh, that's me. Yeah. Oh, I did that one. And it's so exciting because they're also my biggest fans too, you know, and it's proud moments, you know, and it
should be exciting. Yeah. That's great. Okay, I think we have one more here.
Yes, this is the fun one. So that's one of my big stunts there. That was a fun. That one. All those last like 3.
So walk us.
Show me.
So walk us through those for like what are the names of your big stunts, or what are, you know, what techniques go
yeah,
for your
so
big ones?
most of them don't have names just because they're wire work, but the first move I said in that clip that's actually in slow motion, that's called a raise in our martial arts tricking terms. And so yeah, it's pretty cool because I think at that point gosh, and there's so much running through my mind, but I'm pretty sure someone like shoots a bullet, and that's what that's the evasive move that we're doing over, and then she cuts down at the end the last guy. And actually the other clip wasn't attached to this one, but then she goes back into the room for another round 2 of Jurgens, which is another amazing part to it. So yeah, so that one was that, and then there's a floor slide, I believe, on the shield, which was another wire move. And same, like at first, it's really on a film, you'll never do the same move twice, because obviously no film's trying to copy another film, and you want, like Wonder Woman, she's her own. There is no other character out there that should move like her or should fight like her, because that is who she is. So a lot of these moves, were made from Patty and our stunt coordinator, Damon, and, them coming together on the ideas of how they wanted to portray her and portray her action. So we had a lot of these moves where I'm sliding on the floor, whether I'm on my knees or sliding on the shield, or, she loses the shield and I do this jump 360 roll and I pick the shield back up, so it's never, nothing was overlooked. Like all the details were so specific and so well thought out. And I think that's what Patty and, Damon did such a great job with, because there were no holes. Like every little piece, you're just like, wow.
Yeah. Was there anything that you like surprised yourself with your experience through this?
I mean, all of it really. I mean, because everyone's like, oh, you're a martial artist. Like that's, I don't want to say easy, but it's easy. Like that's your job. And I'm like, yeah, but you have to understand your job changes every day. It's not like a 9 to 5 where you go and you sit and you have these tasks, and it's like, it changes. Every piece that you see in there is very intricate. The fights were so intricate, but they're amazing. Like I was challenged. But I like that. I don't like to just walk in and be like, oh, I got this. And that's never how I am on a set. I'm always the quiet one that kind of just sits there. Like I watch and observe and I learn. And there's always something to learn, right? Life, film, like there's always something. So for me, it was going in and just saying, okay, I have to go in, I have this task, I have to learn this. And then it's like, from those different clips, because obviously Italy was at the end, but the second one I think we saw in the room, that was pretty much one of our first few fights that we shot. But then it's like, while we're shooting that, we're already prepping for the next one, and then once that's done, it's kind of like relief, You're like, all right, check. I got, check, exactly, check. You're like, check, I got that one done. I don't have to think about it anymore. Move on, great job, but now you have another task, So it kept being like that. And then by the time we got to Italy, it was like, the task is done. Like, we're done, So it was a challenging experience, but yet like an amazing one at the same time to create their vision of what they wanted her action to be.
Any particular one that challenged you the most? That you're like, oh, that's something I haven't done, or pushed you a little to your limit?
It's funny. The 360 roll where I pick up the shield, it's not in the clip we saw, but it's in the second room, which, everyone will get to see soon. That was a little challenging. One of our stunt guys on the team is a gymnast, and he, I guess, showed the trick one day, and they put it in, and they were going to try to have somebody, like, they were just like, oh, well, this move looks cool. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it looks really cool. And they're like, learn it. And I'm like, ooh, okay. This is going to be a tough one. But yes, sir, I'm going to go learn it right now. So that was probably the most tricky, just because that's not something that I do. Like the raise that I mentioned, the first flip we saw, that's what I do. You asked me to do 100 of those, I got them, So it's always hard when there's things you don't know, but you have to learn, you have to struggle through. And there were some of the wire maneuvers, that I struggled with. The sliding on the shield was tough, because it was a combination of me and, the wire puller at the same time being on the same level, same, rhythm, and then me being able to have a good weight and like balance on the shield to be able to slide across. So there's like a lot of things to it. And then after I do that, they're like, oh, let's put the sword in your hand. You're like, oh. One more thing to encounter. You're just like, I could do it though. So it was a lot of that. I don't want to say anything's ever easy, because you have to master a skill, and when it's something on this scale, you can't practice it 3 times and be like, well, let's go, guys.
Yeah.
You have to practice. Like, there's a lot that goes behind it. So, but then again, it's challenging, and like that role now I do for fun.
Yeah.
And it's like, now I got it, and I'm like, God, all that time that I took, and I was struggling and frustrated, and why can't I do it as good, And it's like, but now I got it. So it's like, I learned a new thing and I added it.
Right.
So
and
it's
now
fine.
you can you keep increasing that.
Exactly. Now there's something else to learn,
Yeah.
right? So it's fun.
Yeah. Any other scenes for us, to those of us who haven't seen it, to look out for when we do go to it this week?
Yes, the scene that's in the tower with Ludendorff, that's probably one of my favorite kicks. Like that, it is a wire move, and it's at, I want to say it's kind of towards the end of the fight, and I go into it, it's in complete slow motion, and I almost go horizontal, and then I kick him out, and that takes him to the outside of the tower before they go up to the roof. So, I don't know, something about it, the way when we started working it out, it kind of had a cool little feel, but the tower was just so small, and with camera and with lights and with him and with me and a wire, and there's just it got really I don't want to say claustrophobic, but it was small. You could only do so much in a small space, and I'm long. Like I have look, my hands go off camera, they're so long. Like my arms are long, my legs are long, so it's like it's hard to fit in a teeny area. So we started kind of playing with this move, and I'm like, how can I make this work, because it does look cool. So it ended up kind of just becoming something a little different, but when I did it, I was like, whoa, whatever that became, I am so happy with it. And it was probably one of my favorite parts. So yeah, look out for that one.
Okay, there you go, guys. How was it working with the general? I mean, that, he looks like such a fun.
He was really cool. It was funny though, because he did learn, a lot of his fight in pieces, and I mean, it's like Gal, like they all have to learn their pieces as we go as well, which is even more work on top of their acting. So it's like he would come in, he would rehearse with us, and he was always like great energy and like super ready to go. And there's a piece where he like slams me against a wall, and I go through like there's like a breakaway glass thing behind me, and he was always like, are you sure, are you good, are you ready? And he was always so sweet, just like a nice guy. And I love that. I love when you get to work with nice people who are excited to do action, because sometimes it is a little hard, it is a little scary. You want to make it look your best, but no, he did fantastic in the film.
And the rest of the cast, I mean, how was it for you when you're sitting back and you're looking, okay, I'm with Robin Wright, Gal, and then Patty as the director?
I mean, being with all of them was just amazing. It's funny because when I look at them, or I look at any celebrity or anything like that, I think I most admire them for their skill and what they've accomplished and what they've done, because I know kind of what it takes to get to that, to my level in the martial arts world, and now I'm striving to get to the next level in my stunt career and even in acting. So it's like I admire these people and the drive that they have in the direction that they go, because they're doing what they love and they're just so good at it, So even with Patty every day, if we'd be on set, she'd be like, oh, okay, well, I want this just a little bit more graceful, because that's how Wonder Woman would be. And it was like listening to that and then trying to incorporate it in. And then our stunt coordinator, he does amazing films and is so talented. So to sit there and learn from him, even if it wasn't even directed at me, sometimes I would just be like, whoa, cool tip. Like I could learn that and take that to the next thing or my next day. So I'm always trying to pick up things from those people. And Robin was great. She was so funny. Like we were out in Italy and I wasn't around her too much, just I'm on second unit, they're on main unit, and we're always kind of shooting, at the same time. So, but I mean, she was fun. We got to rehearse obviously for the first scene that, you saw. And Connie was great. We worked with her out on the beach in Italy, and everybody had such a willingness, I guess you could say. Like nobody was like, oh, I'm not learning my fight today. Like they all wanted to contribute, which was fantastic. And then even Chris Pine, like just an amazing guy, so nice and just so fun. And he was like, he didn't, it's funny because in a lot of the scenes that you'll see in the film, it's like he's kind of secondary to Gal, and he's always looking at her like, whoa, like these powers, like, and it's different because as a man, it's like you're kind of coming second to a woman. Definitely. In a sense. And it's but just the way that he works is fantastic, and his humor, like you guys are gonna love the humor in the film. Like
they say their chemistry is just amazing.
The chemistry is unreal with them. And then the lady who plays his secretary is fantastic. Like the camaraderie that they all have, like there's laughs in there that are not even forced. Like they're just like it's just because it's them and it's so pure and real that you just like fall for it. You're like, I'm in love with this. So yeah, you'll like it.
I can't wait. Can't wait. Oh, and there was something I was just going to ask you, and you brought that up. But it'll come back to me. It'll come back.
It's coming.
Yeah. Oh, it's going so fast. I'm looking at the time, and I keep looking. I'm sorry if I'm looking down. I'm having a Gal moment because I know she said she took a lot of criticism about them saying her boobs weren't big enough for and I have some tape that I think it's opening. But we're good. We're good. We're closed off.
I think we're good.
Okay, cool.
You're looking
just clearing
great.
that out. Anyway, all right, well, now that the time is going so fast, let's talk more about you and your career and your path and what got you to where you are today. So let's start that out by showing we have your stunt demo reel. So let's take a look at that and see all the things you can do. Looking tough.
Yeah, starting at my martial arts career where it all began.
You smashed a plate over my head, then I set fire to our
This song was great too.
Thanks. Another strong one.
Yeah.
It's a film I did with Jackie Chan, Chinese
Yeah,
Zodiac.
we'll talk about that.
Teen Wolf, one of my favorite shows. The fun stuff.
I was gonna say, it's so fun. It just seems like the best job ever.
Just get beat up on a daily. Yeah, normal.
Does it feel good sometimes to take out the aggression too?
Yeah, kind of. It's exciting to all watch it like compiled together though, you know, like it's all over so much time.
Yeah. His reaction.
He's like, wait, what?
I see you do that kick a lot, right?
My split kick, one of my signatures.
The spike, what's it called?
Split kick?
Split kick, yeah. So, in addition to Wonder Woman, this lady has also been on Furious 7, Taylor Swift Bad Blood video, Jackie Chan movie. Tell us of the other things you've been in.
Gosh, it's just been a whirlwind of like things here and there, you know. But Fast 7, I stunt doubled Ronda Rousey,
who is like the biggest bad. I mean, people knock her now, but she's still amazing.
No,
like,
she is an amazing
right?
woman. Like working with her, just sitting there talking with her, she's fantastic. So it's kind of hard when you see how people portray her and say things about her. You're just like, you don't know what people go through in life for one, but two, she's a fantastic fighter. Yeah. She's an amazing human being, and it's just
she took the sport to another level and another level for women. So I hate that people are so quick to like be on her, praise her, and now they just want to knock her down. So we appreciate what she's done.
We do. We appreciate you, Rhonda. So yeah, I did that, and then I also was a bodyguard to the billionaire in the scene. So I have one of the red caps on that I'm standing right next to him. So that was fun. And then I did a film with Jackie Chan called Chinese Zodiac. And that
he selected you, right? Because you've known him for a while.
I did. Well, for now, yeah. I mean, it's been like I want to say almost 5 years since we've shot, so I'm very close with him. But he actually found me. One of our tournaments is on ESPN every year that I used to compete at since I was literally a little kid, and I guess he was sitting in the States and he was just clicking TV, whatever, just like chilling, and he came across karate, and he was, I mean, obviously Jackie Chan. He stops.
Yeah.
So he's like sitting there and he's clicking, and he's like,
we have a little picture of her too.
Oh yeah, my little picture of me. So so then he stops and he was like, oh, well, she was kind of good. And then my name had passed though, and he was like, he's like, God, well, I guess I'm gonna sit here and wait. So he sat there and he waited and waited and waited, and then I came back on again, and he took a picture of my name, and he was obviously casting for the film at the time, and sent it to his producer and said, find me. So I got an email, and it was the shortest email, and I was just like, this is probably someone just messing with me. But I always respond, and I was like, yes, of course, I would be honored, please let me know more details. Kind of fell off after a while, and I was like, oh man, well, I guess it was nothing. And then literally about 5 to 6 months later, I got an email, and they were like, you ready? And I was like, yeah. I was like, anything with Jackie Chan, I will go. But what crazy enough is I didn't know what I was going for. I had no idea. Stunt, acting, I don't know, hold Jackie's coffee. I didn't know what I was going for.
You're just on board for whatever.
Whatever. Jackie Chan, martial artist, I am there. Sign me up. So yeah, I got on a plane by myself. I think I was 18 maybe, to China. Landed. I went right into fittings. I was jet lagged to no tomorrow. And then I still didn't know what I was doing. Nobody told me. And obviously there's a language barrier there, so you can't speak to everybody. So it was I was just so well, I mean, I'm here now, we'll see what happens. Next morning I go into hair and makeup, and they're starting, and all of a sudden he walks in the door, and I was just oh, wow. I was like, this is crazy. He sits down, he's like, hi, I'm Jackie. And then he just sits next to me, glasses on, doesn't like mornings. I mean, who does, right? Yeah. And then we're just getting ready, and then they hand me a script, and I'm like, oh God. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, he's like, are you ready? I'm like, oh, yes, sir, I'm ready. So we go out, and I'm acting. I have a part, I have lines. I have lines with Jackie. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah, no time to rehearse.
None. I hadn't even seen a script. I didn't even know what I was about. I didn't know what I was really doing, but it didn't matter, And the craziest part is that was almost in the beginning of my career. So I didn't really, I hadn't been on a lot of sets. I didn't have a lot of experience. Obviously I had my martial arts experience, which he knew, which is how he found me. But I didn't have a lot of set and stunt, work experience like that. So I was nervous, of course. I was like, it's different. We don't actually punch each other in the face. There's things you have to know and do. And so it was a learning process for me. But then who better to learn from than him? Yeah. And then he's just on top of course, who he is and the empire that he has and the legend, that he is. He's just the sweetest guy. There would never be, he'd be on set, fixing my foot pad, and I'm like, no. I'm like, sir, I got it. And he's like, no, shh. And he's, down there, helping me and tying it, and I'm just like, this is crazy. You would never find that, but it's, the type of person and just the heart that he has is great. And we've kept in touch over all the years. When I actually was in London filming for Wonder Woman, he was there filming a movie as well. So we had dinner a few nights, and it's fantastic. It's literally like family. So it's great.
Oh, that's awesome. And then I'll talk quickly about the Taylor Swift music video.
Yeah, so I actually doubled Gigi Hadid in that, but she ended up not having a whole ton of action because a lot of things on set and constraints and, her, just everything in general. But to be around the group of girls that were in that music video was huge. I mean, you had Taylor Swift, you had Selena Gomez, you had Cara, who is a model, you had obviously Gigi, and it's just such a strong group of women. I mean, for what they represent and what they do. So to kind of be around all of them and see it happening, and same, I would just sit there and just watch, and it's just to learn and to see them doing what they love and being so amazing at it. It's inspiring for me. So that was great.
What can you say to girls or men, whoever out there that wants to pursue being a stunt double? Talk about your path a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, so my path obviously comes from martial arts, and you
were a world champion, right?
Yes, I have about 95 world titles.
Wow.
Yeah, I've literally been doing it my whole life. I think I started competing at 8. I started martial arts at 6 though. So I think for young girls especially, I think it's something great to get into, because not only one, are you learning self-defense, hopefully you never have to use it, and I never have had to, but I always know that if I had to, I at least would have that skill. I would at least have a little bit of confidence. It's hard being against a man, regardless. Yeah. A man's strength is a man's strength compared to a woman.
But that's got to give you strength in everything, just that empowerment feeling and knowing that you can.
If I had to, I could, so that realm of it has always been important to me. But then too, I've learned so many other things that I take into my life, you know, like just discipline and focus and, you know, respect. And I take that outside of just martial arts, you know, it's like having that black belt doesn't mean I just walk in and put a black belt when I'm in karate. Like it applies to everything in my life. And even through school, you know, I was always a straight A student, and I was like as driven as I was to compete and be number one. I was driven to get straight A's, even though that wasn't my primary, you know, like, but it still taught me to be like, okay, you have to be focused in this, you have to do that, you know, and so it branched out to a lot of my life. So I think for young girls, even young boys, you know, like it's a fantastic thing to be a part of and to learn. And then lastly, I just think, you know, of course, martial arts is a guy dominated type sport, you know, so I was always like the one girl of our team that traveled, and the rest was guys, you know. It was just the way it was. And, you know, you'd get the occasional, well, like, oh, you can't do that, or you can't do that as good. And I'm like, that was kind of where I was like, no, like I am gonna do it as good, if not better.
And you're gonna watch me.
Yeah, and it's like even on our circuit, I've won some things that guys haven't won. I hold some records that guys haven't, and not that I ever brag about it, but I strive to that. And I think at this point in my life, it's like I almost use that as like, girls, look, like you can do it too. Don't think just because some guy is like, oh, you can't do that. I'm like, no, I've beaten the boys, I've beaten the men, you know, and yeah, you get beat sometimes too, but that almost pushed me to be better, to not just say I'm gonna beat the girls, because then when I had to go against the guys, it was like, let's do it, you know, and that teaches you a lot. It teaches you to be stronger and teaches you to push further, and you know, and that's what I think got me to where I got in the martial arts realm. And then now I take that into the stunt world, and I know when I first started, I had a lot to learn, and I still have a lot to learn. You know, sometimes people are like, oh, must be great now, you've been in the business for a bit. I'm like, no, every day you do something different. I get to work and I'm like, what's today? You know, what am I gonna learn? Because to me, it's like in anything else, you never stop learning. In my martial arts, I never stopped learning. So I know in stunts, I'm never going to stop learning, which is fantastic because I love the challenges. I love the adventure and, you know, the exploration, even as me as a person, that I get to go through all of that. So for girls, just follow your dreams, literally, because you could accomplish anything. You just can't think that there's a limit, and yeah, go for it.
Now you also are pursuing acting.
Yeah.
So would like your dream be to, like, you're in the film, you're doing the main star and doing all your own stunts?
That would be ideal. I want to be, you know, like a female Jackie Chan almost, you know, like to have the action behind me and to not need a double. I mean, obviously there's some things you would have to have a double for. The crazier things, they don't even let you do that stuff. But, you know, to be able to do my own fights like he does, and, you know, kind of like what Gal is doing in this, it's an incredible, you know, it's just incredible to make these kind of characters and these things come to screen and come to real life, you know? So for me, being a martial artist, and I just feel like acting, it gives me another thing to kind of try to master. But again, it's a forever learning process, you know? So if I could do that side of it and then do all the action and all my own stunts, like, honestly, dream job, like goals, but we're getting there.
So I mean, Wonder Woman's a pretty amazing one to be filmed to start out in.
Of course.
So if you could cast yourself as another superhero film where you got to do everything, what would it be and why?
Okay, so that's kind of crazy because Wonder Woman has been one of those things which obviously, like, you know of that character, and I'm not a crazy comic book fan geek, like, so I don't know all the other characters. Like, I don't know who would be fully out there to where I could be like, oh, this person specifically, you know? I think for me it's more just like an action type of, almost like a Tom Cruise, like a female Tom Cruise, you know?
Yeah,
the Mission Impossibles, but a girl version.
I can see that, you like sliding under cars, coming up and shooting,
something
doing
normal like that.
I see it.
So yeah, kind of like that. I mean, superheroes are great, but kind of just like be me and inspiring through me and my action and my, you know, past, and just be a strong fighting warrior, whether it was a superhero character or, you know, whatever the case may be, a spy, an agent, you know, something like that. But that would be like dream.
I think you just need to pair up with a good writer now. If anybody's listening, we got a good writer who can write her that character.
I would be
do it.
so ready.
Well, this has gone way too fast. I'm looking at the clock and I have 1 minute, which is amazing. I know, and I'm like, could we keep going? But I know there are shows after us. But well, it is time. Every week we pick a TomGirl of the week.
Ooh.
So we are picking the TomGirl of the week this week, and of course, it's Gal. I mean, it has to be
Of
her, right?
course.
Gal
Look
is
how
our TomGirl.
beautiful she looks.
Yeah, I mean, this Marie Claire, amazing. She's been on the cover of everything lately and just knocks it out of the park. And we talk fashion here too, and she kills it in everything.
She's beautiful, just stunning to look at.
So, yeah, and I mean another reason. It's not only that. It's just like they say how genuine and kind she is.
Amazing.
And the fact that she went from being Ms. Israel 2004, I believe, to she's an Israeli defense forces combat trainer. I'm trying to say.
I gotcha. That's a tongue twister,
right? I'm like. Especially when I'm trying to talk fast to wrap us up, to help me out. Yeah, so to combine actually a real life fighter and serious stuff, and then to have the beauty pageant. I mean, she just can do it all.
She is. She's amazing.
So,
and like you say, even as a human being, her family, her husband, like they were just so great to be around. Like just great people. So that was another thing that made the experience that much better.
Yeah, that's amazing. She also meditates and likes to ride motorcycles.
Yep.
I do want to read one quick quote before our time runs out from her. I thought it was nice. She said, "What she wants for her daughters, for all girls, is that they love themselves enough to surround themselves with people who make them feel worthy. Worthy all the time in the real world, not just moments doled out during marches or Women's History Month or while they're watching a movie, however empowering it might be." She says, "I don't know if it'll ever happen. I'm hoping it will, because life would be so much cooler and less complicated then." Also for men, by the way, because the way it stands now, it's all bullshit. So she's just awesome.
She really is. It's a true statement. It's like it shouldn't be just when there's a march or just when there's something that's going on at that moment. We should support each other and raise each other up and try to make each other better. And same for men. Like we are an important part of the world as a whole. And it has to be always, not when Wonder Woman comes out. It has to be a forever thing. And this is just, I think, going to boost that forward. So,
amen. And that's an awesome note to end on.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming. I could talk forever. I had so many more questions too, but this was great. Tell everybody again where they can follow you at.
Yeah, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, at Caitlin Dechelle.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you here again next week.
Thank you.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.